What makes a great ending? This is probably one of the hardest things to tackle as a storyteller, not only because there's so many things an ending has to get right, but an ending should just be as important as the beginning of the story. A terrible ending can ruin the entire story just as much as a terrible beginning can. The most basic is your typical happy ending. This is one of the most common type of ending because most storytellers don't have much time to expand their stories, so they just have to end with something basic. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, and it's often nice to see everyone happy in the end. A lot of stories I really like have this kind of ending, but sometimes it can be a really lazy way of ending a story. As time has passed, there have been plenty of stories that have taken a different approach to a happy ending, but there have been some endings that will try and shock you. This is what is known as a bad ending, an ending that completely takes you off guard. Some examples of bad endings could be that the villain wins or the entire world ends. This sort of ending is kinda hard to pull off because it can make the audience feel ripped off if they don't expect it. I wouldn't recommend this sort of ending, but if it fits with the theme of the story, this ending can work really well and can be quite dark. Now, between these two types of endings, there's also something called a bittersweet ending. Endings are sad, and it's gonna be even more sad when it's the last time you'll be able to spend time with these characters. However, some storytellers are horrible people and just want to make you cry. When done right, this is probably one of my favorite type of ending, because it can leave you with conflicting feelings that you wouldn't want to express in public. Trust me. And I also want to mention one type of ending that doesn't really fit into the three main categories I've talked about, and it also doesn't really have a name, so I'm just gonna call it the what ending. You know, those endings that just leave you confused with something that makes no sense at all. And since these endings don't really make a lot of sense, they're usually disliked. But if you think about it, they want you to come up with your own conclusion on what you think it means. One example I know is from an anime that I recently watched a couple of months ago, and that was Neon Genesis Evangelion. Evangelion was certainly an interesting experience for me, because not only was it the first anime that I've watched, but it also left me with nothing but regret. Evangelion originally ended in a wholesome and happy way, with Shinji finally realizing that he could love himself so that others could love him in return. For me personally, I liked this ending, until I watched the end of Evangelion. Yeah, that that's how it ended. There have been plenty of theories about the meaning of this ending, and I'm sure that it's pretty deep and all, but I just can't work out why it had to end like this. I don't think I've ever seen anything quite as terrifying as the end of Evangelion. I know the show was dark and all, but I wouldn't expect the ending to be this bad. Remember the giant robots? Yeah, that was fun. So anyways, back to the question. What makes a great ending? Well, an ending should leave you with a sense of completion, even if it isn't a good ending. It's about a character's journey, and they should have grown and matured into a different person from the events of the plot. Nobody likes an ending where nothing changes because, in the end, the story is just going to be completely pointless. Some endings have made us smile, cry, and even sometimes gave us nightmares. Now, you're probably wondering, why have I cared enough about these endings that I would want to make a whole video on it? Well, that's because I just want to express how much I value a great ending. It's very hard nowadays to see anyone able to pull off a great ending to a franchise without bringing it back. A lot of storytellers don't really know how to end, or just simply don't want to end a story, because the truth is, they just want to make money. I don't think every series needs a fantastic ending, but the ones that do, I will never forget. And that's the importance of a great ending. And with all that considered, thank you for watching.